Good evening and welcome. You are with Henry de Klerk from Ultima Financial Planners on this week's edition of Kingdom Wealth through Financial Planning, your weekly program here on Impact Radio, where we aim to equip and to inspire our listeners to make better financial decisions based on biblical principles. Now, this month, the month of May, we are talking about habits, and we have transitioned last week into talking more about financial habits. And this evening we're going to delve into it even further as we really see that habits are so integral and important for us to improve our decision-making process. Habits are the things that are automated. It's the AI in our bodies that where things happens, and we pick up habits, and we continue to do habits, and sometimes we don't even realize that we are doing it. So it has become so much part of who we are. And this program and this topic is aiming to really challenge us and challenge our habits, and also to focus and refocus so that we improve our habits, so that we improve our decision making. Now, all of this is very integral and core to what we're trying to achieve through this program. So if the seat is a bit hot as you're listening to what we are sharing this month, then it's supposed to be like that. It's supposed to challenge you a bit and engage with us. Let's talk about this even further. What we are doing with this program and these programs is we are posting it somewhere on YouTube also, usually on a Friday after the program is aired on Impact Radio. And then you are welcome to talk to us. There's the Flow platform, which is Faith and Leadership Over Wealth, where you can access it, flow.co.za, flowconference.co.za. You can Google that, you'll find it on Facebook as well. And as I said, we really aim to inspire and equip our community to get better at this. So this evening I'm going to start off with a question: why are financial habits so important? So financial habits are the regular decisions we make around earning, spending, saving, giving and investing. They become our default mode. Research from Duke University found that nearly 45% of our daily behaviors are driven by habit, not conscious decision making. And that's from the Duke researcher Wendy Wood. Just like brushing your teeth or exercising, good financial habits reduce stress and bring long-term benefits even when times get tough. Small actions like saving a small percentage regularly, reviewing your budget monthly, or avoiding impulse purchases can compound into major results over time. James Clear, the author of Atomic Habits, said, "Success is the product of daily habits, not once in a lifetime transformations." And it's interesting because we are usually geared, or not geared, we are usually set up to think that it's these once in a lifetime transformations that's going to really make a difference. I'm in debt and I'm really thick in it and I'm struggling, and there's just something that's going to happen one day and it's all going to disappear. And it doesn't happen like that. It's really the product of these daily things that we do. So if you have debt, rather than saying, this event is going to happen and my boat is going to come in and then I'll be able to settle on my debtors, what are you going to do? Maybe on a weekly basis, you can save that one coffee, that one thing that you buy on a weekly basis, and you can actually put that against your debt and pay that off on a weekly basis, where you over time can save a huge amount of interest. So it's really important to think about it in a new way, in a different way, as opposed to thinking that, all is just going to be fixed at some point in time, and once in a lifetime transformations really is the thing, which in financial planning and financial habits is not really why it and how it happens. My second question that I'm trying to answer this evening is, why do individuals struggle to shrug off bad financial habits? I've done a bit of research using AI on this, and these were some of the points that I found pertinent on this issue. Firstly, habits form in the brain's reward system. Short-term satisfaction often trumps long-term wisdom. Bad financial habits, i.e. overspending, impulse buying, avoiding financial planning, are often coping mechanisms for stress, boredom, or low self-esteem. A study from the University of Cambridge found that money habits are formed by age 7. Many adult behaviors are rooted in childhood experiences and the messages we absorb about money. Parents, it's usually important, therefore, that we set good examples to our children. I mean, from the age of 7, it's very young. Children are starting to forming these habits, and there's only and mostly one place where children will be gathering information to form these habits, and that's in their households. Add to that the influence of social media, consumerism, and credit access. It's easy to see how people fall into a cycle. It's not just about willpower. It's about awareness and restructuring habits, just like breaking a bad diet habit. And we've seen also in some of the research we shared when we spoke about the habits in general, that your willpower can also deplete over time and get tired, and it could actually not sustain trying to fight some of these bad habits. So it's important to understand that and rather work on the habits. My next question is, what effect do bad financial habits have on financial planning? Financial planning relies on consistency, goal setting, and realistic behaviors. Bad habits sabotage that. I'm going to give some examples. Overspending is a lack of funds for emergencies or long-term goals. Avoiding budgeting or spend tracking, as we call it these days. No clarity or control is actually applied. Delayed saving, lost time for compound interest, i.e. saving 1,000 Rand a month from age 25 can yield significantly more than starting at age 35. According to the Financial Planning Institute of South Africa, poor money management is one of the leading causes of financial stress and failed retirement outcomes. The knock-on effect can include strained relationships, mental health struggles, and even job performance issues. It's really important, even from a financial planner today, to note the following, is that even the best financial plan can't succeed if the day-to-day behaviors contradict it. So we as financial planners can work extremely hard at installing certain measures, certain controls, certain things, but they will definitely not succeed if the day-to-day behaviors contradict it. For instance, if we talk about spend tracking, if we talk about budgeting, you can start off well and have a budget, but if you don't measure your actuals against the budget over time, you actually not going to succeed, because you're not going to be in that environment where you are aware of what exactly you are spending on a monthly basis, which might also then implicate that you won't be able to know how much you can save, or how much you can put away, or how much you can apply to certain specific goals and objectives. And that, in financial planning terms, is a problem, and that's going to mean that you're going to struggle to actually achieve the outcomes, the goals and objectives that you've set for yourselves. So it's really important then to focus on habits, to realize it's not easy to do, Okay, there's many stumbling blocks, but it is possible. So it's important for us to go through a financial planning process, but then also to realize that you're going to have to change your financial habits. If you obviously come from a place where you have acquired or conditioned yourself to learn bad habits, then you're going to have to change. A lot of people we see, on the other hand, has already installed and implemented good financial habits, and then it's just a continuation of that. So it's really important for us to realize it's not an easy thing. The struggle is real, but it is possible. There's many examples of that, and you will need accountability also in the process, which I think is really important for us to realize. Okay, so what I thought also is let's have a look at what does the Bible say about financial habits. And I realized that Scripture speaks frequently about money. We know that. And not in terms of how much you have, but how much you manage and prioritize money. Some examples that we've also shared on this program. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down." Picture of saving versus impulse spending. Then Luke 16 verse 10, "Whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much." Faithfulness in the small things, including our money habits, is important. And then Proverbs 13 verse 11, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." And not to long-term consistent saving. It's clear to me that the Bible promotes contentment, diligence, stewardship, and generosity. It's not about guilt or shame, but about aligning our habits with godly wisdom. And for that, you're going to have to go on your own journey, to go and read and spend time in the Word, which will help you to realize that this is a biblical principle for us to have sound habits in general, but also to have sound financial habits in place. Now, the question you might ask this evening is how can I apply these principles? And I'm going to share some of the things that I thought is really important in the journey on applying practically these principles. Firstly, awareness. Track your spending for a month. And that was a challenge actually that I put out there to our listeners last week. It says track it for a week. Start with a week. How has it gone, guys? How has it gone? Has it gone well? Have you been able to do that? Let's answer that question. But go now ahead and track your spending for a full month and ask yourself what habit is driving this behavior. Start small. Choose one habit to change or implement. For example, set up an automatic monthly transfer to a savings account if savings is your issue. Replace, don't just remove. Swap impulse buying with a pause and pray rule. Wait 24 hours before any non-essential purchase. Use accountability. Share your goals with a spouse, friend, or a financial coach, and let them help you stay accountable in setting these goals and objectives. Practice generosity. Giving regularly builds trust in God's provision and loosens the grip of materialism. Build habits that support your financial plan and let your plan reflect your values and goals. Remember Romans 12 verse 2. Be transformed by the renewing of your mind. That includes financial thinking too. Now, where should I start if I want to let go of bad financial habits and adopt better ones? Let's talk about this for a moment. Number one, probably the most important, is start with honesty. The first step to face the truth without shame, Proverbs 28 verse 13 says, "Whoever conceals their sins does not prosper, but the one who confesses and renounces them finds mercy." Awareness is key. Look at your bank statements and ask, what patterns do I see? Name the habit. Don't just say, I need to get better with money. Be specific. I want to stop impulse spending on weekends, or I want to save 10% before spending. Understand your triggers. My third point. What leads to your bad habits? Is it stress? Is it boredom, comparison, or poor planning? As with emotional eating, financial habits are often tied to deeper issues. Journaling can help reveal the why behind the behavior. Replace the habit with a new one. You can't just stop a habit, you need to swap it. If you're used to online shopping at night, replace them with time for reading, planning your week, or doing something creative or restful. Use visual cues and systems. Set up automated savings. Use a spending tracker app. Put a note in your wallet that reminds you of your goals, and set calendar reminders for budget check-ins. Anchor it in faith. Ask God daily for wisdom, James 1 verse 5. Start your morning by praying over your financial decisions. Create space for the Holy Spirit to shape not just what you do with money, but how you think about it. Celebrate small wins. Every time you say no to an impulse buy or yes to saving, you're building a new muscle. Don't despise small beginnings. Guys, change is hard, but it's possible, and it's been a tough assignment for me even to talk about this topic. I've done a fair bit of research also on it, but it is possible, as I said, and it is very powerful. If you are able to change your habits, then you, I would say, improve the likelihood of succeeding in your financial planning exponentially. So you may be on track and you set 70% maybe likelihood of achieving your goals. It can raise it up to a 90% or close to there. So it's really important. Don't try to overhaul everything at once. Start with one habit and stay consistent. Invite God into the process. Over time, you'll look back and see how far you have come. Financial habits shape your future far more than financial windfalls. The Bible offers timeless wisdom, and research shows us the practical steps to build freedom. Whether you're just starting or trying to turn things around, it's never too late. Begin today and change your habits, and you'll change your life. Great stuff. Very, very good this evening to be talking about this topic. Challenging one. Some good practical bits also this evening to help you to improve your financial habits. What we're going to do is we're going to transition, and I'm just going to share a story because our theme for the year is stories, and it's maybe a good time to maybe transition and just share a money habit, financial habit story or two with you next week, which can then also practically show what we are talking about. Thank you so much again for joining me this evening. Really appreciate it. Love these times together. I really appreciate it. And all that's left for me to say is God bless and happy planning.